Hi, Dave Madden here, JB Industries. I want to spend a few moments talking about locking cap, or referred to as tamper-resistant caps. So it's federal code for quarter-inch caps and condensing units to have a locking cap. And what does a locking cap do? Well, it prevents refrigerant theft. For especially 22, how expensive that is. But more importantly, it prevents children from huffing. Huffing can be very dangerous. So it is federal code now to use locking caps, and they're becoming more and more prevalent. JB Industries locking cap is called the Shield, and I'll share with you a little bit of insight into how we've come up with our design. So basically, what locking caps are, it's almost like an aspirin bottle, right? You have an inner cap and you have an outer cap. And when they're assembled together, the outer cap spins freely, and you need a special key to access the inner cap to twist it off of the Schrader valve. So fairly simple concept, but they're not all the same. One thing you'll notice about the JB cap, especially with the outer shell, is it's really thick. And that's a lot of brass, right? And more brass means more cost. But if you take a pair of channel locks to our cap, I don't care how hard you squeeze, you're not going to bend this outer brass shell. And why that's important, the one way to get a locking cap off is if you can compromise that outer shell and somehow bind it to that inner shell. This can be done by a pair of channel locks, squeezing it, forcing it onto the inner cap, and simply twisting it off. Another thing about JB's design, which I think is good, if you look inside the inner cap, you'll see 4 tiny holes. These tiny holes correspond with a number 6 spanner bit. So instead of developing our own unique key, which we could have done, but sometimes that's too difficult to get a hold of, we decided to adapt an already known, an already standard tamper-resistant bit, which isn't very common in any households. But contractors can get a hold of one if they need one. Our cap also comes with a little protector. We call it a shield cap. And they're different colors for refrigerant identification. But its main purpose really is to go over the cap to protect it from the elements. These caps are going to be on a system sometimes for years. And if they're not protected through the elements, they're eventually going to corrode and bind together, and then they'll twist off just like a normal cap will. So that's our shield. I'm not going to go through every other cap on the market, but I'll just show you a few recent ones that we've seen. Here's one that is metal to metal. It's not brass, and it's not near as thick as JB's. But instead of using a tamper-resistant bit, it uses an Allen wrench. So again, a pretty common household tool to remove these. So you put it on. Now it spins, so it seems to be working just fine. Now the problem with a tamper-resistant cap that uses a hex key to open is you can really stick anything down in that hole that'll grab onto an edge and open it up. So here's a standard straight edge screwdriver. If I stick down in that hole and I grab it enough, it just twists out. All right, so that's coming off right now just with a regular screwdriver. Here's another one. Again, they all have similar designs. It's an inner cap with an outer cap. This one is very inexpensive, but for a reason, it's plastic. The inner cap and the outer cap are both plastic. And once again, you can screw it on one way, and then it twists. So it seems like it's a good product. But again, this uses the same 3/16 Allen wrench. This one's even easier to get off because it's plastic. I could dig the screwdriver into it and open it up just like I did the other one. Or this one, you can just get a pair of channel locks. And because this outer shell on ours that's really thick, this is plastic. So with relatively low force, I can just squeeze the outer cap and twist this one off. So that one comes off really easy just with a pair of channel locks. But I could also stick a screwdriver or anything else in there to unload it. So again, this video is not to attack other people, but to show the effort and the quality that's gone into our design and why. So as locking caps become ever more standard, please consider the Shield locking cap from JB Industries. That's a locking cap that does what locking caps are supposed to do.